everyone, Scott Butler from Edge Financial Services. I'm coming to you from Merida in the Yucatan, Mexico, and we've just been at the big parade for Los Días de Muertos, which is a big festival in Latin America, Day of the Dead. So if anyone's seen Coco, the movie, that's really what it is. But you know what? Yeah, we went and got painted up and everything, and we walked past basically what is altars from certain little pueblos down a big street, and they can have all food on there, and they have photos of their loved ones. And what that means is, what they believe is that once a year, because those people are being remembered, they'll come back and their spirit will come back and join them for some food. Okay, so you know what? Lovely sentiment. I do like it. You know what? But it's all centered around death, and there's some fashion of feeling of control about having the people that you love that have passed over come back and spend some time with you. There's some sort of control about that, because if you don't put their photo up, the story says that they don't get to come back. You know, if they're forgotten, then that's it. They kind of get lost. So there's that sort of control from the living world over the spiritual world. And it always makes me think, you know, for us people who are control freaks, how much control would we like to have from the spiritual world or from the grave, right? And look, what am I talking about? You know what I'm talking about. My clients know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about our estate planning. You know, it sounds boring, guys, but it's actually not. It's actually so important. You can't tell me that the chances of dying are less this year than they were years ago, right? That's not what the data says. The data says people are dying a lot more. That could be you, that could be me. I don't want to get into why they're dying. All I'm saying is the numbers say we're dying more. And younger and fitter, and we're leaving families behind, we're leaving debts behind, we're leaving all those sort of things behind. So, number one, insurance, which I'm not going to talk about, but you guys know I believe in that. But what I want to talk about in estate planning is 99% of the time, what suits our clients that have a reasonable amount of assets is a testamentary trust will. Now, I'm not going to get into what a testamentary trust will is exactly in this video. I'm going to do another video and expand on that. But understand that a testamentary trust will means that you have control from the grave about where the assets of your estate go, how they're controlled, invested, how they're slowly dished out to your beneficiaries, when the beneficiaries could perhaps spend that money, how they might have to spend it, some conditions perhaps that they aren't in a divorce situation. And it also protects the beneficiaries generally, if done well, from losing those assets in like a card game, you know, like gambling or lawsuits, or if it's done well, family law court / divorce. All right, so that sort of control from the grave and protecting your family's inheritance, you know, the money and the capital that you've spent a lot of years creating, and you want to protect it. You don't want to leave it to your kids and they lose it in a divorce, or they lose it in a frivolous lawsuit, right? So, testamentary trust wills, for those of you who haven't, if you haven't done your will, you're an idiot, you've got to do it. You die intestate, the government controls your estate, and the government takes a big chunk of it as a fee, percentage based. So the bigger your estate, the bigger the government's going to take, and they're not going to listen to anyone's, you know, considerations. They're just going to dish it out in a formula. So please do not die intestate. However, for those of you who've got simple basic wills, and you've got some sort of assets, you know, maybe you've got a large superannuation balance, maybe you've got a couple of investment properties, maybe you've got shares in a personal business, all right? Perhaps a testamentary trust is the right situation for you. Blended families, every day of the week, this is the right thing for you as well, okay? You guys need to have a think about this. Now, you don't need to talk to me, you can talk to a lawyer, but my clients, we talk about this all the time. It's part of what we do. We discuss it, and then we work with lawyers to understand how we're going to position, they write the legal documents, and how we're going to position our assets to flow through to the beneficiaries the way that we want to, and how much control we want to have from the grave. So, great deal. And as I come to you from Merida on the Yucatan, you know, in Los Días de Muertos, the Days of the Dead, and I look around, everyone's skeletons, and we're talking about control from the grave. I guess this is why I'm making this video. So, look, I am going to go in more depth into it later on, but I just wanted to put it out there and just give everyone a nudge. If you haven't got any will, you're an idiot. You're setting your family up for a lot of failure. If you've got any sort of decent assets, you should at least have a conversation about testamentary trust. All right, guys, I'm out of here. We're going to go back and, you know what, it's still rocking on. Mexico's pretty cool. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.